Ladies and gentlemen, how do you do? This is John Cameron Swayze, and this has been a day of comparative quiet on the international scene. Of considerable importance, however, is the news within our own borders. Now, this news can have a far-reaching and lasting effect on every human being in the United States, as well as on those free countries of the world that depend upon us for their safety and well-being. This bulletin has reached this desk from Detroit, Michigan, a city conceded to be the arsenal of America. Now, gangsters of organized crime are making a strong bid to gain control of the labor unions so that they can rule the destinies of some 17 million union workers. But for the courage of honest union officials, the police, and a political regime of integrity, the crime elements would already be in control in Detroit. The film you are about to see, Inside Detroit, shows what has been done and what can be done by men of faith and fortitude to combat this menace.
This is Detroit, fabulous city of untold wealth, of might and muscle, of culture, and the sweat of human endeavor and success. This is Detroit, symbolic of America, a city rich in history, steeped in traditions that began with the first cleric to gain a foothold in a new world, and persevere to push its towering smokestacks of industry against the sky. In Detroit, as in every city in America, the month of December brings gaiety and joy. A warm feeling of neighborly love prevails, and the excitement of children rises high. It is December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas.
Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sign, glory stream from heaven above, heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born.
Well, the last rehearsal, the very last. Man has to be in condition for this kind of work.
Sounded good, preacher. One of the best show we ever put on for those kids.
Well, the Lord gives us the power to help others. We ought to use it. Well, I got to get my music together.
It's getting kind of late. I don't think I'll hang around too long. What about our game? No, not enough.
Something wrong?
Oh, just tired, that's all. He's working up a case of nerves over Gus Lennon getting out of jail in a couple of months.
Hey, pal, you must be new around here. This game is reserved every Wednesday night for the bosses. They got a running game that's been going on for years.
Thanks for the tip, bud. Whenever they want it, they've got it.
What are you worrying about?
Forget it, Blair. Gus is finished. Hey, you want a chance to get some of your money back?
First game for $1?
$1.
See you home later.
Okay, Tom.
You know something about Lyndon that we don't?
No. All I know is that Gus isn't the kind to forget that we put him in jail.
Okay, men. Here we go. Laughing and scratching.
Tom! Tom! Tom!
You got anything for us, Inspector?
Come on, Inspector, open up.
What was it, a boiler blow-up?
At least give us the casualty list.
Get these guys off my neck.
You got the dead list yet?
3. 5 more in the critical. 22 with bad burns or concussions. They haven't counted all the broken bones yet.
Can I go in now? Can I see my brother?
Not now, Mr. Vickers.
Well, you look all right.
I'll live, Ben.
It's Max Harkness, homicide.
How are you? How are you? Find out anything?
Well, that boy say it was nitro.
Nitro. And it wasn't an accident. It was Gus Linden.
Want some advice?
No.
Well, take it anyhow. Don't jump to any conclusions. You don't just guess about a thing like murder. We have the police and courts to make sure.
I know what I think, Ben.
Are you going to talk to the papers?
How many men were killed?
Blair, that temper's going to make you say things you shouldn't.
I'm going home, Ben, and I'm going to say what I have to about Gus Linden. Anybody that'll listen. And then let Gus prove I was wrong.
I'm sorry, Mr. Vickers.
The bombing precipitated an emergency meeting of union executives from all over the country. These men gathered at the international headquarters of the United Auto Workers, American Federation of Labor, in Los Angeles, California. Here, Mr. Earl Heaton, president of the UAW-AFL, presented a blistering account of the bombing to his chief aides.
You have just heard a complete report of the attempt that is being made by outside sinister elements to establish control over Local 2201 in Detroit. This attempt must not be given a chance of success. The American labor movement and the UAW-AFL particularly must meet this challenge. I have already acted by placing Local 2201 under the direct administration of the International Union in accordance with our Constitution. I have appointed Blair Vickers of 2201 as administrator to carry out the plan of the International Union. I want, and I am sure I will get, your approval to use all the resources at the International's command, if need be, to crush this gangster raid on the local union.
As repercussions of the tragic bombing were felt throughout the nation, irate citizens met the following day in Detroit with Blair Vickers and other union officials. Vickers assured the local dignitaries that the criminals responsible for this outrage would be brought to justice.
You think it was smart to come here, Miss Linden?
I don't think there was ever a time when it was smart for me to come here.
Your father sends you this time?
I always knew you were stubborn, Blair. I never knew you were stupid.
All right, so the secret's out. What do you want?
You accused my father of the bombing.
I said just enough so the papers could guess for themselves.
Yes, I noticed you were careful. There are a lot of names I'd like to call you, Blair. But it wouldn't do any good. It wouldn't solve anything.
My brother is dead. What can you do about that?
Tom was killed. I'm sorry. But my father was not responsible. You put him in jail. He was hardly in a position to fight back at you or even defend himself against your lies.
You still think Gus is a little tin god, don't you?
You fought him because you're ambitious. You wanted to be a big man in the Union, and the only way you could do it was by getting rid of my father, no matter how. All right, you succeeded. And it almost killed my mother. You ruined my life, but maybe that's not so important. You also ruined my brother's. He hates college. He wants to quit. He could have had a brilliant future, but now the only thing he can think of is what he is in the eyes of the other students, the son of a criminal. You and Tom and I have been friends ever since we were kids. Once you and I were more than friends. But you made us hate you, Blair. All of us.
You finished?
No. My father's going to get out of jail and try to start a new life, and I want you to leave him alone.
Just like that, huh? Just leave him alone, huh? Well, you're either a fool or a phony. I don't know which, but either way you lose. I know Gus Linden. I know him for what he is. I worked with him. I know him for the thieving murderer that he is. And if I can put him behind bars again, I'm going to do it for as long as I can.
In a prison outside the state of Michigan, where Gus Linden was nearing the end of his 5-year sentence, the brewing storm over the affair had no apparent effect.
Harry, you've been okay. Buy the wife and kids a turkey for Christmas.
Thanks, Mr. Linden. I'll be sorry to see you go.
Well, I think you would be. 20s aren't easy to get around here. Where's the warden?
He said he thought maybe we'd like to talk alone.
Bring what I told you?
Over there.
Ah, you got the right kind, huh? Yeah, the warden will like these. He'll really like these. You know, you guys are suckers. You ought to take up this game. Gets you in the best clubs. Meet all the best people.
Maybe we know we're not the golfing type, Gus.
You mean I ought to know, too, huh? That's the difference between us, Sammy. You're afraid of what you are. You're tough and you're smart, but inside you think you're not as good as other people.
Aren't you going to ask us about Vickers?
Vickers was lucky, Gus. He couldn't have been near that shuffleboard.
What's the matter with you? You got excuses, too?
Something went wrong. I don't know. Vickers is still alive. It's done. We can't do it over.
The whole country's steaming over the bombing, Gus. We don't dare go after Vickers again. Not yet.
The election is in June. Have you guys figured how we're going to take it?
Vickers is still around. We can't make a move. We don't dare. It's not safe.
Let's just say that I let Vickers sit for a while I was away.
He's done pretty solid. The boys like him. The auto plants like him. How are you going to do it?
Yeah, Gus. What are you going to do? Make speeches?
I'll do anything if I have to. Anything. And so will you guys. We're not stopping with just one local. 2201 is just a springboard. Before I'm through, I'll control every union in the country and every industry in every city. You know what I'll be, Sammy? I'll be a government within a government.
President of the United States that nobody votes for.
You think that's funny, huh? Oh, boy, I'm blowing my top. That's no good. Blow your top, you don't think straight. Mitchell, you're still on the locals board of trustees. See that a lot of the old boys get jobs in the plants again. Notify the boys in Cleveland and Chicago. The syndicate wants this election. And we better give it them, or we're washed up. All of us. Start running the books and the numbers in the factories again. The more money that's bet, the more votes we bought. Oh, did you get the Christmas presents for my wife and kids like I asked?
Yeah, Gus, it's all taken care of.
Good, good. Arrange a party at Joni's the day I get out. Tell all the main boys I'll be there. I'll tell my ideas then. Tell Joni that's when she'll get her Christmas present.
Well, we got to get back. Funeral's this afternoon. Vickers' brother.
Newspapers ask any questions? You don't know anything.
Just like the president says it. No comment.
Yeah. Just like the president says it. Just like the president says it.
Doing everything we can. We pulled in over 200 people for questioning. Nothing. Just the bomb fragments and the wire. We know the wire and the nitro were stolen, but that kind of evidence won't nail anybody.
Did you bring in all the members of the old Linden mob?
Blair, when you say mob, you're guessing. There's no organization that we can trace directly to Linden. You can't call a man a mob member just because he backed Linden in a union.
So you're giving up?
You know better.
All I know is that there's no time. There's an election in 8 weeks. I want the proof of Linden's guilt before he manages to get a stranglehold on Local 2201 again.
Oh, Blair.
And I can't wait for you, Ben. If I have to, I'm going to do things my own way. Linden made the first move. I'm not going to hang around and wait for him to make the second.
So you're going to stick your neck out and either make an idiot of yourself or get yourself killed?
No, look, Ben, I've already talked to Chalmers and Denwood out of Malik Motors. They're letting me hold a mass meeting, 2,000 men inside the plant. I'm calling it for next Thursday, the day that Linden gets out of prison.
You're not going to make any open accusations.
I'm going to say what I have to say, Ben. If you have any regard for what I'm trying to do, you back me up.
Max.
Yeah, Chief.
The fight last night was a phony.
You hear everything Vickers said?
I spotted it in the 4th round. Harlan was carrying that guy. Trek was hanging on to Harlan like Harlan was a lamppost.
Vickers is going to get himself into trouble.
I was going to be a fighter once myself. I didn't like the idea of making a living for a manager.
You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Mm-hmm. You're going to say, Max, you're the best man for the job. Right down your alley. If anybody can do it, you can.
I want you to tail Vickers 24 hours a day. Don't let him out of your sight. Live with him if you have to. If Vickers gets in any kind of a jam, it'll be your fault.
You know who have the best jobs? Jockeys. That's the kind of a job I ought to have, where a horse does all the work.
Remember, Vickers doesn't shave without you if you have to live in the bathroom.
What are your plans, Gus? No comment.
Give us a statement on Vickers.
You heard him, Gus. No comment.
Lost that last meeting this afternoon.
Who do they think they are, pushing us around like that?
No comment.
Where's Mitchell?
With Vickers, at that meeting at the Malik plant. We better know what Vickers is up to.
All he can do is talk. It's going to take more than words.
Fellow members of the United Auto Workers, a fellow who's got a lot more brains than any of us once said, the Lord helps those who help themselves. We're going to have to do an awful lot of helping in the next few weeks. And here's the president of Local 2201 to tell us how we can help. Blair Vickers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Men, I'm not going to take much of your time. You all have lunches to eat. But in exactly 7 weeks, Local 2201 is going to be fighting for its very existence. I'm not going to make a campaign speech. I'm not going to ask you to vote for somebody. But I am going to ask you to vote against somebody. And that man is Gus Linden. I know you ask, how is Linden going to get on the slate? I don't know. But you can rest assured that he's going to try. And he's not going to pull any punches. The explosion, the bombing in the recreation hall was no accident. So we can expect more trouble. Maybe even bigger trouble. More of us might get hurt. But we're a decent, lawful union, so we can't fight violence with violence. All right? There's other ways we can fight. We have the backing of the entire police department and of every government official in the state. So if there's any threats made, any coercion, any attempted bribery, please report it to the union office immediately or to Inspector McCauley here at police headquarters.
When it comes to elections, I'm not on anybody's side. But I want to tell you this. You're entitled to vote the way you want to. That's the law. And if somebody tries to break that law, he's a criminal. And he's going to be handled like one. So vote the way you think is right. The police will do everything they can to see that you don't get pushed around. That's all. Thanks.
Just one more thing. Local 2201 is only one local out of thousands. But this election is being watched throughout the entire United States. Because if racketeers can take over 2201, they can do the same thing to every other local in the country. That's the fight you're fighting. That's the fight you've got to win. Remember it.
Ben, how long do I have to put up with him? You lost 6 votes in that bombing. You could lose 1 that'd cost you the entire election.
Do all cops have your patience?
Patience? I'm paid to be patient.
Let's go get some coffee.
Thank you, Agnes. Yes, sir. Now I know I'm home again. My wife, my daughter, and my son. And a cake that says Pop on it.
Just as if none of our unhappiness ever happened.
It happened all right.
Well, what are you kicking about? Didn't happen to you. All we're going to think about now is the future.
Dad, can you forget the past that easily?
Look, Greg, there's a lot of troubles a man can have. A bad friend is one of them. Broken leg is another. No money, gallstones, ulcers, any number of things. Life is pretty much give and take.
Look, Dad, Blair Vickers framed you into jail. He almost killed Mother with a shock, and we're supposed to forget about it?
Greg, not tonight, please. Father's home, and we should be happy. Everything's all right now.
Is it, Mother? And don't you have anything to say?
You're upset, Greg.
It was such a wonderful cake. I ordered it especially. Greg, you always liked chocolate icing.
What's the matter with him?
Nothing, Gus. It's nothing.
It's Blair, Dad. Greg thought that when you got back, you and he would...
Get back at Vickers? Now, you listen to me, Barbara. My family is one thing, my business is something else. Greg stays out of my affairs. You all stay out of my affairs. You understand that?
Gus, you're shouting.
I'm sorry, Ethel. I'm blowing my top again. It's never gonna be anything, did it?
Just don't yell at Greg tonight.
All right. How's his golf game?
They wanted him to try out for his team at college.
Did he make it?
He didn't try.
Certainly a fine welcome home. What's the matter with everybody around here?
Greg, you said you wouldn't start any trouble.
Why didn't you tell Dad about your meeting with Blair? About the way he acted with you, the things he said to you?
He wants us to stay out of his affairs.
Stay out. We're part of them. Look, sis, I've been in college 3 years. I can't take any more of it. It's gotten to the point where I don't want to see people. I don't want them to see me.
Greg, you haven't done anything to be ashamed of. Where are you going?
I don't know.
Kids are really a problem, aren't they? But gee, Ethel, you've done a great job of them.
They're wonderful children, Gus, just like you.
Well, I guess every father wants his kids to be better than he is. Say, it's getting late. I gotta get going.
Must you go to that meeting tonight?
Can't waste any time. The election's getting close.
Did Greg come down here?
No.
Oh, I guess he went out the back way to his car. He wanted to get some cigarettes.
See you after the meeting.
Bye, Dad.
Oh, Harry. You can tell that gal of yours she's got no heart.
She's got a heart, Joni.
Darling, something's missing, or she'd never have room for all that liquor.
This is missing.
Where's Gus? It's getting late. He'll be here. He's got to duck away from his family first.
Hi! Gus! Look, everybody, it's Gus!
Right on with the party. Got some unfinished business.
Don't I know you from someplace?
State Penitentiary. I've been spending my summers there.
Delightful place. They cater to such a nice class of people.
Nothing's changed.
Oh, Gus.
Queen of Sheba, who are you?
Where's Blair? Keep your hands at your sides.
Oh, come on, kid, you're half crocked.
Where's
Put
Blair?
that gun down. Silly little jerk. What do you think you're coming in here doing? Wait a minute. What are you trying to do? Break your hand on his head? It's Lyndon's son.
I should have guessed.
Does your father know you're here? Does he? Answer me.
No, he didn't know. He's joined the Sunday go-to-meeting crowd. He's turned the other cheek. He's wide open. Did you hear that, Blair? He's wide open. Anytime you want to double-cross him again, go ahead!
You're bending a suit.
Well,
Now we can talk the whole thing over nice and peaceful down at headquarters.
I'm not going to prefer charges.
What is this? Sweetness in Light Week? Look, the kid has to be booked.
All right, Banks, but you can do me a favor.
Yeah?
Ask them to release him in my custody.
Well, I don't know. That'll be up to the chief, but I'll see what I can do.
Look, I don't need any favors from you, Blair.
Don't worry, you're not getting any. Gus is a pretty smart man. He doesn't make many mistakes. So if the police let you off, you and I are going to help him make a few.
Me? You must have me mixed up with the stooges at the Union.
Gus at that welcome home party tonight?
Uh-huh, the whole mob.
All right, go on in there and wash that blood off your face. We're crashing a party.
Swell party, Joni.
Gus, can we talk?
Sure we can talk. What's on your mind?
I've never been very good with arithmetic, but I've been able to figure a few things out. I'm not a kid anymore, Gus. Even so, I've got more years ahead of me than the amount I've already used up. I've had 5 years to think about that.
Dames are always worried about the future. Well, I got yours beat for you. How do you like this setup? No penny ante stuff. Your own model agency, swanky headquarters, private string of escort bureaus, booking agency, burlesque. Not like before, you'll have the best-looking girls in the country working for you.
That the whole thing?
Yeah, it's the whole thing. What else?
I waited 5 years for you, Gus. I gambled 5 years of my life. I want a better deal.
How could it be any better?
You could marry me, Gus.
What do you mean? Brush off, Ethel. You're cracked. My wife and my kids, that's my family.
I have one, Gus, and Ethel has the other. Real convenient for you, isn't it?
You're not doing too bad, either. Now, listen. Marriage is a piece of paper. Forget it. Everything's gonna be just like it was before. Just like it was before.
I'll see you inside.
Now you can see some of your father's business associates. Tall man over there by the fireplace, that's Lucky Daniels. This one over here with the cigar, that's Ollie Margaret. Those two fellas over there, that's Shemp Bonner and Chippy Slade.
Where's Gus? The kitchen. Why? It's gonna be fireworks.
You've seen all their names in the papers. Max here can show you those same names on a police blotter. See, Gus?
No.
You want something, Vickers?
Sorry, I got my invitation a little late. Glad I could make it.
Shall I get some boys? No, the guy with the bow tie is a cop.
Got in there.
All right, all right. Look, since my father isn't here, is it... hate to bust in on your business meeting, Dad.
Is this your idea?
I never would have thought of it either if your son hadn't tried to kill me tonight.
Kill you? Is this the truth?
Yeah, I thought it was being a hero. You know, the kind of stuff you read about in books? Defending the good name of the family and all? Well, I goofed, Dad. I didn't know the family didn't have a good name.
If this is the truth, why didn't you book him?
He was booked, and he was released in the custody of Vickers.
Cops are human beings. They know this boy's no killer.
I'm no idiot, Vickers. This wasn't done as a favor to me.
No. No, it wasn't. You see, I lost a brother. This way you lose a son.
Maybe you think Vickers wasn't responsible for the kid getting a break. Well, I do. Now, don't get too mad at Vickers, Gus, because if anything happens to him, I'll know where to look.
What kind of drink, Dad?
You've had enough. You tried to kill a man. What have I raised you to be, a killer, a murderer?
Don't worry, Dad. I'm not very good at it. I like your business friends, though, Dad. Where did they graduate? Alcatraz, Leavenworth, huh? Sing Sing?
Keep your mouth shut, Greg.
I always talk too much when I drink, Dad.
If you mention one word of what you've seen here tonight to Mother or Barbara, so help me out.
Hear what? Kill me? Like you killed Blair's brother? Blair said I'd be helping you make mistakes, Dad. You just made the first one.
Greg. Come on, I'll drive you around. The air will make you feel better.
Come here. Where'd the kid go?
Joni's driving him around until he sobers up.
Vickers shouldn't have done this to me. Shouldn't have brought my family into it.
Don't lose your temper, Gus.
All right. If he wants to play tough, it's okay with me. From here on in, I'm not pulling any punches. Get the girls out. We're holding a meeting.
Now?
Yeah, now, right now.
All right, girls. We've got some business to attend to. All the girls in the other room, powder your nose. Come on, kids. Come on, let's go. Take your drink with you. Let's go. Come on, we got business. Let's go.
Feeling better?
I'm thinking better.
You want to stop and talk a while?
Don't you have some guy waiting for you back at the party?
I know nobody's property, if that's what you mean. You'll find those things out gradually.
You must have wealthy parents.
Ever hear of the Orchid Model Agency? You will. We're expanding. It's going to be one of the biggest in the country. I own it.
I had you wrong. Suppose you think I'm a half-baked kid.
Not exactly a kid. Not half-baked either.
Gus, no matter what you think, Vickers' speech to the men at the plant did us a lot of harm. We can't get our guys into jobs at the Malik plant.
Why not?
Because Vickers' speech was like a shot in the arm to Jenkins, the hiring boss. Vickers said he had police protection. Now, Jenkins is being brave. He's refused every one of our men.
Okay. I said I wasn't going to pull any punches, and I'm not. Now, unless we get our men into the Malik plant, we can't control any votes. Get Lincoln Reller. They'll know how to change Jenkins' mind. All right. Get the Daves out. Start the party rolling again. Time's up, gals. You can come out now.
What happened?
Union trouble. Oh. It's just a warning. You and the kids are gonna be next.
What's the big idea, preacher? Vickers gives us this big pitch about keeping out the old Gus Linden boys. And now Jenkins is upstairs hiring them. 25 of them in the past 10 days.
Yeah, what's Vickers doing? Backing down and leaving us holding the ball?
I haven't seen any of these men. Where are they?
Upstairs on the assembly line. Next, they'll be coming down here.
You sure about
We're
this?
sure. Now, look, you're real good at talking, preacher. Suppose you go out and try talking to Jenkins now.
I was in that bombing, too. So don't start telling me about the meek inheriting the earth.
I'll talk to Jenkins.
No one tells me who to hire and who not to hire. All those new men hold cards. That's good enough for me. Get back on the job before I send in a report that you're stirring up trouble.
Judas. I tell you, Blair, something has happened. Jenkins has switched.
25 on the assembly line? No, I didn't know it. Of course, as long as they don't cause any trouble, they've got a right to work. I'll have that point out with Jenkins right now. Okay, thanks, preacher. If there's any calls, I've gone out to the Malik plant.
Yes, Mr. Vickers.
We all know what having Gus Linden's men around us meant before. Gambling, horses, bookies. Almost every man is in debt to the bookies. You owed so much to Linden and his runners, you could hardly call your lives your own. Are you going to fall into the hands of this devil again? You spend half as much time reading your Bibles as you do your daily racing forms. Gus Linden and his men would have to go back to work like the rest of us.
Branislaus, this is my last warning. That goes for all of you, too. Get back to work.
Let him talk. We don't want no crooks working with us.
Preacher torture, we quit. No, we're sick of the way you've been handling this,
working
Jenkins.
for Gus Linden, but we're not.
That's right, Blair. I'm working here.
Why?
You said any trouble would originate in the Malik plant. I want to see for myself.
I've got an appointment with Jenkins right now. We can talk about it later.
I have to take these to the shop.
The shop? You said you wanted to see for yourself. With your eyes open or closed?
They've always been open.
If you think that, you won't see anything at Malik Motors. You can quit right now.
Afraid I might see something you wouldn't like?
Did Gus get you this job?
I got it myself, purposely in a spot where I could watch what's going on in the shops.
Did your father argue against it?
Blair Vickers tells me we have no right to protest against legitimate men working alongside of us. In that case, we have to keep them legitimate. If these men bring gambling back into the plant and they try to scare us, we have a weapon in our hands, a weapon we'll use if we have to. We'll strike. We're a union. We'll walk out.
Preacher!
taking Jenkins to headquarters for questioning. Do you have anything you'd like to add to his testimony?
So help me, Blair. If you try to blame this on my father...
Would you like to come along and hear what he has to say?
I think I would.
You have no right to bring me here like a criminal. I haven't done anything.
You hired that killer.
I told you, he held a card. He worked in other plants. He was experienced. We always need experienced men.
You're holding back. Every hiring boss in the country knows the wrong man to hire. It's his job. You had ways to check on that man.
He checked all right.
You were intimidated. You were forced to hire him.
No, nothing happened. You can't make me say anything happened.
There can be more killings at the Malik plant. Is that what you want? Let's add a few more like preacher to your conscience.
You're walking a tightrope, Jenkins. If you slip and fall, don't come running to the police. Maybe too late to help you.
You talk about intimidation. What do you call this?
All right, you can go. They're scared, Blair. We questioned every man in that workshop. No deal. It'd take a force 20 times the size of the one I have to give all the men in the industry protection 24 hours a day. They're frightened sick. I can't say I don't blame them.
I know. I've asked them to fight brass knuckles with bare fists. It can't be done.
Well, the way things are now, you know how they're going to vote in that election.
The guys of this country fought to get their unions. Now the unions don't know how to fight for them. What's the matter with us? A million men that'll be ruled by a few with guns.
Law and order have guns too, Blair. Only we've nothing tangible to shoot at.
You started something a few weeks ago, but you didn't finish it. It was a smart stunt you pulled with Lyndon's son. Now, don't tell me it's not cricket. The police can't do it. It'll be strictly in your lap. Lyndon's family is the only weak spot he has.
Max is right. Either the mobs run the unions or they don't. It's up to you. If you have to start slugging below the belt, then do it. The only one that'll yell foul will be Lyndon.
You were gone a long time. Mr. Jenkins must have had a lot to say.
Mr. Jenkins took all this time to say exactly nothing.
You were able to frame my father once, Blair, because he trusted you. It isn't so easy for you now, is it?
Do me a favor, Barbara. Just keep working at the Malik plant.
With the refusal of Jenkins to reveal any evidence, the Lyndon forces knew they were in the saddle. For without such evidence, the police remained helpless. Hundreds of Lyndon men moved into the plant, and horse race betting in the numbers game flourished. The workers were getting into debt to Lyndon, and pressure was put on all as to the way they must vote in the coming election. As crime progressed, it became increasingly hard for Barbara Lyndon to close her eyes. She began to live in a nightmare of doubt.
There it is. How do you like it?
Very respectable. Just like that place you fixed up for my modeling agency.
Wait till you see the cellar. Some setup, huh? Great, isn't it?
See, the numbers boys have a room all to themselves. Real cozy.
Yes, sir.
Our men can take bets from runners at any auto plant in town.
I got him here like you wanted, Gus. Trouble somewhere?
I like to stop trouble before it happens. Things are going good now. Real good. Boys in the factory are betting the numbers and the ponies, and it's like old times. And Vickers has been shoved so far back in the woods it'll take a searching party to find him. Everybody entitled to a vote knows who's boss now. When Bronislaus was killed, Sammy here thought it'd backfire, but it didn't. It worked out just fine. Those guys in the Malik plant probably get nightmares seeing that steel fall from that crane. So we're going to keep the pressure on till election day. That's why you're here.
More killings?
Hey, Sammy, you talk as if I like it. Why don't you look at it this way? Take those foreign countries. They have those political purges. They stop trouble before it happens.
Who are you stopping this time, Gus?
I got word that Jenkins is getting a little nervous. Seems he's headed for a breakdown.
You're getting rid of him?
You talk too much, Sammy. And so I want you boys to keep an eye on him, watch him all you can. If he doesn't make any funny moves, leave him alone. Otherwise... Let's go out and get something to eat.
I think I lost my appetite.
Sit with me while I eat.
Craig, I thought you were leaving.
I'm not going home.
No?
And I'm not going back to college. I'm in love with you, Joni.
I'm glad.
So what good is it? I don't have any money. I can't even take you out.
Have I complained?
No, but that's not the answer.
Greg, are you really serious about not going back to college?
I've had all I can stand of it. I'm gonna get a job somewhere.
How would you like to start at the top? I could use a partner at the agency.
Do you really mean it? Gee, that'll be great news to hand Dad.
You're not going to tell him. Not yet, anyhow.
Well, why not?
Greg, how much do you know about Gus?
Just what I can guess. Why?
If he knew I gave you a job, he'd put me out of business and run me out of town.
You're crazy.
Blair Vickers is finished. Your father's going to win that election. Once he does, he won't be far from running a lot of things.
Joni, how much did you know about that bombing? And about the man that was killed over at the Malik factory?
All I know is what I read in the papers.
Joni, tell me the truth.
Oh, now, Greg, he's your father. And he's done all right by you. When I was a kid, I didn't get any of the breaks you're getting. He thinks you're the greatest thing that ever happened to him. Remember that, baby.
Vickers?
So if you'll meet me at police headquarters in the morning, I'll tell everything I know. I was a church-going man, Mr. Vickers. I haven't been since this happened.
That shot, did you hear it?
I work in a garage, Doc. Hear 'em all day long. A car backfired out on the street.
Oh. Maybe I should take some of my own nerve medicine. I'll have your cough syrup in a minute.
There's no rush.
Who was it?
Jenkins. Thanks for coming. Sorry you had such a long trip out from town, but, well, I didn't pick this place.
No, who did? Martini, please. Who did?
I understand that Greg has quit college.
You seem to know a lot about us.
I hear that he's taking a job.
Now, you didn't get me here to talk about that.
Barbara, the police told me that Greg is going to be here tonight.
The police?
Yes. Look.
You tried to get me to hate my father, and now you're trying to involve Greg. Won't you stop at anything?
You don't know the girl that Greg is with?
No, should I?
You can decide that for yourself. Her name is Johnny Calvin. She's been picked up 3 times in 4 years by the police. Right now, she runs a model agency. And this week, the police found out that Greg is her partner.
You're lying.
If you think I am, take a look at these photostats. The police department gave special permission to have them copied. I tell a pretty rough story, Barbara. I don't know how Greg got involved in all this, but Johnny Calvin works for your father.
No.
And if you're interested, there's more that you don't know about your father and that girl.
No, I won't believe you.
No, Barbara, I didn't want to do this. It's not my style, but... well, I need your help. You're the only person that's close enough to Gus that might...
What'd they say?
They don't know yet. 50-50 chance, maybe. Doctors are the best. There's nothing else we can do.
She might die.
You and I had better have a little talk. Max?
Well, I'll wait out in the hall.
Thanks.
Blair, it was an accident.
Sure. What makes you think it wasn't?
I don't know. I'm just not sure about anything anymore. What I want to know is why were you there first?
Barbara was with me tonight in that roadhouse when you came in with Joni. You're in trouble. Barbara was running away from that when her car crashed.
What are you trying to tell me?
The police have been tailing you ever since you hooked up with Calvin.
Who did that? My father?
He'd be the last one. Greg, Joni Calvin is one of the most notorious women in Detroit.
Oh, you've accused a lot of people before, Blair, but this is hitting a new low, even for you. To hit at
And
Joni.
you're going to listen for more. That model agency is only a front for Calvin's real racket. Barbara saw the photostats of the police files tonight.
Barbara, you mean... Oh, I should have killed you, Blair.
Would you like to see them, too?
What did she want? Why would she do it to me? What happened to Barbara tonight was my fault.
You better start realizing what's happening to you. You're Joni Calvin's partner. That puts you in line for an arrest.
Arrest? Blair, look, I didn't know anything
I've already
about
talked
Joni's...
to Inspector McCauley. You prove which side you're on, well, maybe they'll be lenient with you.
Why should you be trying to help me?
I'm not. You're a fool. You're a spoiled kid with the guts of a jellyfish. But you're the key that opens a lot of doors. You refuse, you're going to jail.
Oh, look, Blair, don't try and force me into anything.
Barbara may be dying in there, and you still don't know which side you're on. I'm through talking to you, Greg. You can take it or leave it.
She mustn't die, Blair. What do you want me to do?
All right, son. Perfectly legal. Search warrant. Open it up.
Well, this is a good place to get a paycheck every week.
Yeah. The guy could sure keep his mind on his work around here.
All right, Lyndon, you said she had a secret safe. Where is it?
I'm not guaranteeing what's in it. I've only seen it once.
Okay, we'll give the guarantees.
It's here somewhere. Here.
Well, what do you know, huh?
All right, Steelman, this is your department.
Right. All right, fellas, give me a hand with this desk, will you?
Jay.
When you saw all the trouble she went to have that rig, what'd you think she was hiding in there? Office stationery?
She said the office had been robbed a couple of times. That's why she had it. Do you think I'll get it?
He's the only cop they won't let in Fort Knox.
Got it.
I guess that's all there is, Inspector.
This is what we want. A lot of front page names here. Won't take much to make them talk. These are your girlfriend's real customers, son.
You've got what you want. Can I go now?
We made one deal with you tonight, Greg. We still have another one to make with Joni Calvin. You can go now if you want to, but we'll need you later. And Greg, if you want to get out of this in one piece, keep your mouth shut.
You and Blair see Calvin tonight, but don't bring her to headquarters unless you get stubborn. Don't want to take a chance that one of Lyndon's men might spot her. Take good care of them.
Hope that's the last beating that kid has to take.
Bill, who is it?
The police, open up.
Oh, you too. Look, why don't you boys peddle your papers in the daytime? I was asleep.
Sorry, but this wouldn't wait.
No? Make yourselves comfortable. What'd I do, go through a red light?
Oh, you're not the type.
You see, Miss Calvin, there's a couple of books in there that are rather interesting. Not exactly the kinds you'd find in a library.
How'd you get that box?
Well, you see, I like to swing on chandeliers, and yours happened to come down. We always had to let you go before because we didn't have enough evidence. Not this time.
I want to see my lawyer.
Oh, sure you do, but you can save yourself the money. You know, lawyers cost a lot of dough.
Is that supposed to be funny, too?
Well, not necessarily, but... Well, the police have come up on a new one with you, Miss Calvin. You weren't born in this country.
So?
So, we're going to get rid of the small fry. We're only interested in big fish like Gus Linden. You're small, so maybe we'll throw you back where you came from.
You mean deport me?
We made a little deal with Greg tonight.
Oh, now, wait a minute. That kid hasn't done anything.
You did it to him when you took him in as a partner.
Yes, but that was... Now, skip it.
Why? Why did you do it?
I wanted Gus to marry me. He wasn't very subtle when he told me where I stood. I used Greg for revenge, I guess.
Let's keep talking about Linden. He represents big-time racketeering here in Detroit. If he ever gets a hold of the unions, Detroit will be the worst city in the country, and we're not going to let that happen.
Know any more bedtime stories?
Look, eventually we're going to get Gus for murder. If we want, we'll tie you in on the rap, too.
You're bluffing. You can't prove I ever had anything to do with the killing.
Would you like to have us try, ma'am?
It's either deportation or take your chance with Gus on being tried as an accomplice to murder. What'll it be?
So now little old Joni gets a dirty end of the stick.
If I had some beer, I'd cry in it.
You either string along with us or should Max arrest you now?
Maybe it's funny. Gus had his chance. A wife couldn't testify against her own husband. All right, fellas, you call the shots.
Doctors say you're going to be all right.
I know. I'm going to live.
Barbara, I have to talk to you about Gus.
He was here. I asked him a lot of questions. He doesn't lie too convincingly.
Maybe this isn't the best medicine in the world for you, but, well, I wanted you to hear it first from me rather than later from somebody else.
Thanks for that much.
I'm closing in on him, Barbara. It won't be long.
You maneuvered the whole thing, didn't you?
From the day my brother was killed, Gus didn't give me any other choice.
Honey, almost die and then I don't. It's like starting a new life all over again. God must be making the decisions. But I'm still Gus's daughter. And I don't know right from wrong.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. I told you. I'm not making the decisions. Do what you have to. I don't think I'll hate you.
Vickers is with him. You cover the rear exit.
Remember, Vickers, if I'm going to be deported, you'd better get me out of this alive.
Police are all around. You get all the protection as possible.
Thanks a lot.
Who is it?
Gus, open up.
What's he doing here?
You want to know what happens when Link is here?
Sure. You give the order and somebody gets killed.
Maybe I have given some orders like that. I never thought I'd have to give one where you were concerned.
Now, Gus, wait a minute. I haven't done anything.
You pulled a fast one on me, Jody. Nobody does that to Gus Linden, not even you.
Now, Gus, what are you talking about? Business has been good. You've been getting every dime you're supposed to. Your boys have checked my books.
I'm not talking about the way you ran the racket. You know that. I'll give you one chance to explain, and you better make it good.
Well, sure, Gus. Anything.
Greg came home tonight. Said that you and he were going to be married.
Gus, what's wrong with that?
Why, you double-crossing.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Gus. You didn't want me. I'm entitled to marry somebody else.
A thing like you with my boy. I'll see you dead first.
Sure, that's right. Go ahead and kill me. Just like you killed everybody else who won't do things the way you want.
Then you ought to know that one more won't make any difference.
Oh, no. Gus, no! Help, Vicky!
I'm wrong. He had nitro on the back.
Think you got me nailed, Vickers. It's not that easy.
You're right, Gus. It wasn't easy.
We thought this was something private just between you two tonight. It wasn't. Tape recorder, Gus. You're kind of lucky at that. In your whole life, you probably never said anything worth putting down for posterity. Now tonight, in just a few minutes, you've said some things that the whole country's going to hear.
The honest, civic-minded men of Detroit staged a resourceful and courageous battle against the forces of gangsterism to overcome this very real threat to the country's security. The United Auto Workers Union will long stand as a symbol to every other union and guild in the nation of what must be done to preserve this security forever. Well, that's the story, folks. Glad we could get together. This is John Cameron Swayze saying goodbye.